The last hour. The red lights bathed everything in blood. Station Commander Rax stared at the main display screen with empty eyes. The numbers told a simple story. Power core failing. Life support 12 minutes. Escape pods destroyed. Help, too far away. They were finished. Commander, Engineer Kira said quietly from her station. Her blue skin had turned pale gray. Should I shut down the distress beacon? Save power for the end? Rax wanted to say yes. The beacon was useless now. The nearest ship was 4 hours away. They had 12 minutes, maybe 15 if they were lucky. The math was cruel and clear. Leave it on, he said instead. His voice sounded dead even to himself. Someone should know what happened here. The station groaned around them. Metal screamed. Somewhere deep in the lower decks, something exploded. The lights flickered. Now they had 10 minutes. Rax looked around the command center. 15 crew members sat at their stations waiting for death. No one cried. No one screamed. They were professionals, scientists, engineers. They had known the risks when they took this deep space assignment, but they had not expected this. A meteor strike in a supposedly safe zone, 1 in a billion odds. The rock had punched through the station like a bullet through paper. It had destroyed the main power core, wrecked the backup systems, and turned their escape pods into twisted metal. They had tried everything. Every repair manual, every emergency protocol, every desperate idea. Nothing worked. The damage was too severe. They needed parts they didn't have, time they didn't have, miracles that didn't exist. 8 minutes, Kira whispered. Rax closed his eyes. He thought of his family on the homeworld. His daughter had just started academy. She wanted to be a commander like him. He hoped she would pick something safer. Commander, the communications officer jumped in his seat. I'm getting a response to the beacon. What? Rax's eyes snapped open. That's impossible. There's no one. It's a cargo runner. Small ship. They're already docking. Hope and confusion mixed in Rax's chest. A cargo ship out here? Now how? They must have been passing through, Kira said, her voice rising with desperate hope. They must have been close. Tell them our situation, Rax ordered, already knowing it was useless. A small cargo ship couldn't help. They didn't carry replacement power cores. They didn't have rescue equipment. But at least someone would witness. Someone would tell their families. The docking clamps engaged with a heavy thud. The airlock cycled. Green light. Someone was coming aboard. 6 minutes, Kira said. The command center door opened. A figure stepped through. Rax stared. It was a human, young, male, wearing a dirty work suit covered in grease stains. He carried a heavy tool bag in one hand and held a data pad in the other. His face looked confused. Hello? The human said in heavily accented standard. I am Jack. I have your supply order. Water filters and... Why is everything red? The entire command center stared at him in silence. We're dying, Rax finally said. The station is destroyed. You need to leave, now. You have maybe 5 minutes before we lose life support completely. The human looked at his data pad, then at the warning screens, then at Rax. His face was strange. Humans showed emotion differently than Rax's people, but he could read confusion, concern, and something else. Show me, Jack said. The human way Jack ran through the corridors. Commander Rax ran beside him, struggling to keep up. The human moved fast, too fast for someone who should be terrified. 3 minutes, Rax gasped into his communicator. The power core room was a disaster. The meteor had torn through the station's heart. Cables hung like dead snakes. Metal panels lay twisted on the floor. The main core itself was cracked open, its energy bleeding out in dangerous pulses. Jack stopped at the doorway. He stared for 5 seconds. Then he dropped his tool bag and started pulling things out. This is impossible to fix, Rax said. Even our best engineers tried. We need a replacement core. Stop talking, Jack said. He pulled out a hammer. A simple metal hammer. The kind used for the most basic repairs. Rax watched in confusion as Jack approached the core. The human studied it from different angles. He touched cables, looked at broken panels. His face was focused. Thinking. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Kira's voice crackled over the communicator. Jack grabbed a hanging cable. He looked at it. Then he looked at another cable 3 meters away. He pulled out a roll of thick wire from his bag. What are you doing? Rax asked. Bypass, Jack said. He started wrapping the wire around the first cable. His hands moved quickly, efficiently. Core is broken. Cannot fix, but power is still inside. Just cannot flow, so make new path. That won't work, Rax said. The power distribution network is too complex. You can't just. Jack ignored him. He ran the wire across the room, wrapped it around the second cable. Then he pulled out tape, industrial tape. He wrapped it around the connections.
Layer after layer, that's tape,
Rax said, his voice rising.
You're using tape on a power core.
Yes, Jack said. He moved to another section, started another bypass. Good tape. Very strong. 2 minutes, Kira reported. What? Show me the damage. Where is problem? There's no time, Kira said. The power core is destroyed. We need professional repair teams. Special equipment. We have 4 minutes. The human named Jack set down his tool bag. He walked straight to Kira's engineering console. His eyes scanned the damage reports. His lips moved as he read. His face changed. Rax recognized that expression. He had seen it before on younger officers, fresh academy graduates who didn't understand that some problems had no solutions, who still believed everything could be fixed. You can't help, Rax said gently. No one can. You should save yourself. Jack looked up at him. The human's eyes were strange, brown, determined, almost angry. No, he said simply. Take me to power core now. But how? Jack worked faster. More wires, more tape. He connected 3 more cables. Then he grabbed a broken panel. The human looked at it, flipped it over, and jammed it into a gap in the core housing. He hit it with his hammer. Once, twice, 3 times. It wedged tight. What is that supposed to do? Rax demanded. Radiation leak there, Jack pointed. Panel blocks it. Not perfect, but enough. The human pulled out more items from his bag. A wrench, a screwdriver, a small welding torch. All basic tools. Primitive tools. He moved around the core like he was fixing a broken truck, not a sophisticated power system. 1 minute, 30 seconds. Jack grabbed his hammer again. He approached the core itself. The cracked section that was bleeding power. He stared at it. Then he swung the hammer. No! Rax shouted. The hammer hit the crack. Metal screamed. Jack hit it again. And again. He was hitting the broken section from the side, forcing it closed. Like closing a door. Sparks flew. Energy crackled. 1 minute. Jack dropped the hammer. He grabbed a metal plate from the floor. One of the broken panels. He held it against the crack he had just closed. Then he pulled out a welding torch. That won't hold, Rax said. The pressure inside is too great. You can't. Jack started welding. Fast, rough welds. Not pretty. Not proper. Just enough to hold the plate in place. 45 seconds. The welds finished. Jack stepped back. He looked at his work. Wires wrapped in tape. A broken panel jammed in place. Rough welds over a crack. It looked like garbage. Like something a child would make. Turn on backup power, Jack said. Now. That will do nothing, Rax said. We tried. The backup can't connect to the. I make it connect, Jack shouted. Turn it on. Rax triggered his communicator. Kira, activate backup power. But Commander, do it! 30 seconds. A hum filled the room. The backup power kicked on. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the wires Jack had connected started glowing. The bypasses. Power was flowing through them. Through tape and basic wire. Through impossible connections. The lights in the corridor outside flickered. Changed from red to orange. 20 seconds. More systems hummed to life. The core's cracked section held. The rough welds held. The jammed panel held. The lights turned yellow. Then white. Life support stabilizing, Kira's voice said. She sounded shocked. Power at 40%. Temperature normalizing. We have atmosphere. Rax stared at the jury-rigged core. At the tape and wire and rough welds. It was working. The human had fixed the impossible. Against all logic, Jack sat on the floor. His hands were shaking. Now that the emergency was over, his body remembered to be afraid. He had almost died. They had all almost died. Commander Rax stood above him, staring at the repaired core. The alien's face showed confusion, wonder, maybe fear. This should not work, Rax said quietly. By every law of engineering I know, this should not work. Jack looked up at him. But it works. Yes. Rax shook his head slowly. It works. Kira entered the power core room. She carried a scanner. Her blue skin had returned to its normal color. She was alive. They were all alive. She looked at Jack, then at the core, then back at Jack. I ran full diagnostics, she said. Her voice was strange, soft. Power is stable at 42%. Enough for life support, communications, and basic systems. The repairs are holding. How long? Rax asked. Until the rescue ship arrives. Maybe longer. Kira approached the core. She studied Jack's work. This is insane. These connections violate every safety protocol. The welds are terrible. The wire gauge is completely wrong. The tape, she touched it. You use tape on a power core. Yes, Jack said. He was too tired to explain again. But it works, Kira whispered. She looked at Jack with wide eyes. How did you know it would work? Jack shrugged. I did not know. I tried. You tried? Rax's voice rose. You had 2 minutes. You just tried random things? Not random, Jack said. He stood up slowly. His legs felt weak. I looked at problem. Core is broken. Cannot replace, so must work around. Power is trapped inside. Must make path for power to flow. Must stop leaks. Must close cracks. Simple problems. Simple solutions. Simple. Kira laughed. It sounded hysterical. We spent an hour analyzing the damage, running simulations, calculating stress factors. We determined it was impossible to repair without proper equipment. Yes, Jack said. You think too much. Problem was simple. You make it complicated. Rax and Kira looked at each other. Something passed between them. Understanding. Realization. We gave up. Rax said slowly. We looked at the problem, saw it was impossible by our standards, and we gave up. You did not give up, Jack said. You tried. You worked. But you tried to fix it the right way. The perfect way. Sometimes there is no right way. Sometimes you must use the wrong way that works. Kira laughed again. This time it sounded more real. The wrong way that works. That's very human. What do you mean? Jack asked. We've heard stories, Rax said. He sat down on a broken panel. About humans. How your species repairs things. How you solve problems. Other races think you're all crazy. Maybe, Jack agreed. You use tape and wire for everything, Kira said. You hit machines when they don't work. You try things that should fail. And somehow they succeed. Not always, Jack said. Sometimes my repairs fail. But I try. Always try, Rax stood up. He walked to Jack. The alien was taller, but he looked smaller somehow. Humbled. You saved 15 lives today, Rax said, with tape and a hammer. With wrong solutions and impossible repairs, you did what our advanced engineering could not do. I just fixed problem, Jack said. No. Rax put a hand on Jack's shoulder. The gesture was awkward. Humans and Rax's people didn't normally touch, but it felt right. You did more than fix a problem. You taught us something. What did I teach? That giving up is a choice, Kira said. She approached them. We chose to give up because the solution seemed impossible. You chose to try because, why? Why did you try when you knew you might fail? Jack thought about it. Why had he tried? The odds were terrible. The time was short. Failure meant death. But he had tried anyway. Because I was there, he said finally. Problem was there. I was there. So I must try. Not trying is worse than failing. Rax nodded slowly. Not trying is worse than failing. Yes, we forgot that. The station hummed around them. Jack's terrible repairs held. Life flowed through taped wires and rough welds. It was ugly. It was wrong. It violated every rule. But it worked, and sometimes that was enough. 4 hours later, the rescue ship arrived. They found Outpost 7 still alive, still running, powered by the most ridiculous repair job in the history of space exploration. The repair crews stared at Jack's work in disbelief. Then they took pictures. They wanted to remember. The day a human saved an alien station with tape, wire, and the simple refusal to give up.